Aloha! Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight on our 11th Kusina Talk. I am Claire, your host for tonight, and joining me is Ate D, Kuya Gil, and Irene.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Before we introduce our guest, let's do our shout-outs. Starting with you, Irene.
Yes, for the shout-outs for tonight. Shout-outs to Scarborough, East York, North York, and Toronto downtown. Woohoo!
Kuya Gil. Unmute.
Sorry. Okay, shout out to all you guys out in Markham, Stouffville, Vaughan, Uxbridge, Richmond Hill, and Thornhill.
Yay! Ate D. Go
Yay!
ahead.
Aloha! Hello, mga kapitbahays! Mahalo. Okay, so shout out to our kapitbahays in Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Bowmanville, all the way to Belleville. Hello!
Woohoo!
Woo!
Woo!
Hopefully you guys had a good day. It was a great day today.
Yes,
It
it's
was.
beautiful.
Yeah. Now let's introduce our guest. He is showcasing the island grinds from Hawaii, and his name is Erwin from Big Hawaiian Grinds. Aloha, Erwin.
Aloha, Claire.
Aloha.
Aloha, everybody. Love that everybody's in theme today. Nice
Yes,
shirt.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
It wasn't even planned.
Amazing. Last
It was
minute.
a last minute thing. But hey, we all had it. So yeah, good. Good that we did.
Yeah, no,
How are
that's
you?
great. I'm good. I'm good. How is everybody else? It's been a fabulous day. Nice weather outside.
Yeah. I just came from work, so
Boo.
boo. But I'm pretty sure they had fun.
Yeah, gardening. We went to Vandermeer this morning.
Exactly.
And then, yeah.
It's all about
Thank you.
plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Erwin, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So, I've had this pop-up company called BIG E HAWAIIAN GRINDS. We started around 2012. And that has been sort of a journey in terms of finding different paths along the way. But, my background in terms of career is not in the hospitality or food industry. It's in advertising and tech. So while, I was trying to, learn a little bit more in my past career, I stumbled upon a company that was emerging in the Toronto market. They're called the Toronto Underground Market. And it was around the time when food trucks were trying to get regulated and assembled together. And there was a group that was behind TUM, which is sort of the acronym of it, who was looking for aspiring chefs or restaurateurs who were looking to get into the space of food trucks when, the legislature of Toronto would allow that to happen. So there would be a lot of food events. This was 2012. And different events that happened at the Evergreen Brickworks. So I got started. I applied to be one of the vendors because they were looking for home chefs. And then, the way they did it was they had a limited amount of vendors allowed, and they didn't want any overlap. So a lot of my friends were like, "You got to try it." They loved eating my food. I always cooked for my wife and my friends. I was always the host of like her dinner parties. So it was sort of a good segue to try it. And when I was applying, a lot of my friends were like, okay, you got to figure out an angle because, there's tacos, there's other sort of different genres of food. So you got to find something that will stick out. And we just came back from Hawaii. So me and my wife were frequently going every year. And one of the things that, brought us back was the food. So I thought, why not sign up and, bring some of the food I love to eat into the events that I would sign up for. So signed that up. There was a panel that you had to like audition for and everything. So I was up against, restaurateurs, emerging, chefs and stuff. And I got in to my first one. And it was a sort of a culture clash experience because we didn't test anything out. We sort of just closed our eyes and went in blind. It worked out. We got a great response. We got great feedback from the organizers and other aspiring chefs. And I used that time to like be a sponge. So frequently went back, did other events with them, and then spawn off to do other festivals and stuff from organizers who were attending them. And that just led to opening up, being part of like different festivals and events in Toronto. So between 2012 to 2015, we were doing a lot of different events around the city. And then the band sort of grew in terms of, can we do catering? So we're, opened the door to working some corporate catering with my tech background, with other companies, clients and stuff, and the company I was working for. And then, it became a way to segue into other sort of food opportunities. So did trade shows, the Delicious Food Show, Food and Wine event, and other stuff. So, just started like, things just started progressing. And I still kept my career in advertising and tech. So this became a hobby, but more of a sort of a busy hobby because every weekend we'd be doing this, not only with me, but with my wife, my cousin, and then my brother-in-law and his wife. And then we just became sort of this rotating group of, family that wanted to come on board. So one of the things I wanted to do to make sure they kept coming back was I covered their costs of like expenses to attend these events. Usually Toronto, you have to pay for parking and other stuff. So made sure I covered the costs, made sure I covered some of the expenses when we're at these events. So not only are going to eat my food, but like, try other people's food. We did food exchanges and stuff. So learn from other chefs, and then bought beer and stuff and drinks. So, every weekend, if we had these going on, it allowed the people that were helping me something to do other than feeling like they were a slave to like working for me. There was something to look forward to. So we just kept doing that. And being in sort of the food and event space allowed us to connect with more people, and I was doing more catering and different opportunities. So, our roots were always in Hawaiian food, but, the Filipino community also reached out. So, in 2018, we did, I believe, one of the only public Kamayan events in the Bentway. So it's right on the Gardner Expressway where the bridges are. They turned that into event space.
Yeah.
In the summer of 2018, we did a series of Kamayans that allowed, open culture sort of nights over the summertime. So we participated in that. A bit more featured to, I guess, the Toronto community versus sort of the subculture of the Filipino community, but really wanted to make sure we exposed that. And I think that was at the height of where Filipino cuisine was growing a lot. So it was a great event outdoors. Weather was great, so we didn't have any rain. We had hired some Filipino artists to sing and have some background
amazing.
music. Gave a lot of the background behind what Kamayan was all about, how Badol fights were sort of existed and stuff. So really tried to weave in some of my Filipino culture and background into the Hawaiian cooking and some of the events that we were doing.
Do you have, Erwin? Do you have a Hawaiian heritage? Or did I miss it in the beginning?
Yeah, no, I missed slotting that in. So I don't have a Hawaiian background. It's my wife. She has family over there. And the way that things got started is we got married and we had our honeymoon there. And every year after that, we celebrated our 1 year, 2 year, 3 year anniversary there. And when I talked about like what kept us going back, it was the food. We had family there. One of my best friends lived on the island of Oahu. So really
I love
that. Yeah.
Well, that's the only island I've been to.
Me too.
The other island.
You were there.
He's there.
I was there the same time you guys were
Same
there.
time I was
But
there.
I know Claire is a regular because she has lots of families there.
My
That's
family's from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Great island there.
They're from Oahu, but a lot of them are also in Maui and Kauai.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
I mean, all of them.
So yeah, I mean, ever since our honeymoon, we sort of immersed ourselves in the Hawaiian culture, really just loving, living there. And when we were there, we didn't live like tourists. We were living like we would be a local, renting a house, getting a Verbo or Airbnb, and just staying amongst sort of the local people. And, because we look very similar to all the locals, we lent ourselves to not being in tourist spots or being sort of hijacked by, a lot of the people who are trying to make you spend a lot of money. So it was a great, it's something that keeps us coming back, something, in terms of not only loving the tourism and the culture behind it, but understanding the struggles that local Hawaiians have, in terms of, the high level of homelessness, the struggles of not having a strong career outside of the tourism industry, hospitality and stuff. So, things like that really hit home in terms of seeing how the culture is, falling in love with the people there, and, always wanting to come back. So I think that's where the premise of our food, where we're evolving today, because as the pandemic sort of stopped all the events that we were doing, we looked upon groups like what you guys are doing in terms of PINOY EATS SA EAST, where a lot of emerging, home cooks or aspiring, entrepreneurs really wanted to, spread themselves out. And, that's a great concept in terms of us bringing the roots of Hawaiian food back to more people who want to eat the food.
Well, I was gonna say, what is Hawaiian food? We're going a bit off topic there, but it's all right. Like anything goes, right?
Yeah.
But what is Hawaiian food, right? Because Hawaiian food, Hawaiian cuisine or Hawaiian food is
It's a mix.
what is it? It's a mix of
Yeah.
right all these other influences from I don't
Japanese.
know, Japan, Portuguese, Filipino,
Ton of it, yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, the culture of Hawaiian food really dates back to when people were migrating to the islands, either as workers. You know, there is the native sort of Hawaiian culture, you know, primitive of Polynesia and South Asia and Asia Pacific, and then the migration of a lot of the Asians coming in. So Japanese, Filipino, Korean, you know, coming onto the sugarcane plantations. Portuguese sort of migrating and being one of the early people who landed there too, helping sort of culturize the islands. But you know, you bring that all together, and what it is the ability to have a touch point from different cultures, but sort of coming together and complementing each other.
Yeah.
So you know, at one street corner, you'll have a pho place, and then a Filipino lumpia takeout spot, as well as you know, malasadas, which is Portuguese.
Malasadas.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Can you make that?
Which one? Which one is the malasadas?
You need to make malasadas.
So yeah, I'm learning that. That's my wife. So the baking side of things, the sweets, and we'll talk about that later. But
Yes.
all the sweet stuff comes from my wife. On all the savory dishes.
I love her hapia pie. Let her know.
Yeah,
What
that'll be
was the
right.
name of the one with the rice and spam? Masubis.
From Musubi.
Masubis.
Yeah.
You
for
make
sure.
that too?
Yes, we do. We totally do.
That was our breakfast there when we went to Hawaii. So like,
Oh, yeah.
here's what we want from you.
And the best thing, you can get that kind of breakfast all day, even at a McDonald's. So at a McDonald's, you can get spam, eggs, and
Everywhere.
rice.
7-Eleven.
Yeah. But that's how the culture is in terms of food, lending itself not only into fast food places like McDonald's, adopting the local culture, but you know, I might get blasted for this, but my favorite thing in Hawaii, in Oahu in particular, is in downtown Honolulu, which is a New York pub that sells pizza, New York style pizza.
What?
It's so funny. Like
Wait, which
I
one?
crave it when I land. Me and my wife, just because we can't get that style of pizza. It's
Is
JJ
it at the
Dolan's.
No.
It's right in the heart of the business district, right in
Yeah,
downtown Honolulu.
I think we went there. I
Yeah,
just can't
they do
remember.
some tours with like tourists and stuff in terms of like pub crawls and stuff. But yeah, I mean, I love everything. Not to say that's it's just one of the things I crave when I land into Hawaii. But you know, there's so many other things, malasadas, like we talked about, masubis, going into Japanese markets and trying some local Japanese food.
There's the udon place there too, the famous.
Murakami?
That's the one. Like we lined up there for so long, and it was so
Oh my
hot.
god.
Yeah, and then you know, one of my favorite sort of restaurants and chains that you know, people go to, and Claire, you might have visited a lot, is Zippy's.
Zippy's. You know what? That's my first stop. Well, okay. No, seriously though, because we usually arrive at nighttime.
Yep.
So my aunt usually has that ready for us. So we do Zippy's at night, and then we visit my grandma's grave in the morning. But that's always been like a tradition.
Yeah.
It's always Zippy's.
So Zippy's is a fast casual restaurant. They offer everything from home cooking to hamburgers and French fries.
Yes.
But their sort of signatures are their Korean fried chicken, chili and rice. They have a
Is it near the airport?
inside. So yeah,
Is it near the airport?
They're everywhere.
Mhm.
I
There's
don't think I've seen Zippy's though.
I'm
across all
pretty
of
sure I
town.
told you guys to try Zippy's.
It's everywhere. It's like ABC.
ABC, yeah, I remember.
ABC's in every corner.
Yeah.
In every corner.
Yes.
Could
Yeah, I
you-
mean-
I moved to Hawaii and work at ABC.
Amazing.
I don't think Kuya Gil has been to
I
Hawaii.
miss Hawaii. I miss Hawaii.
Wait, have you been to Hawaii, Kuya Gil?
Yeah, just Maui though.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh,
Maui's great.
that's our next stop, Maui.
The good thing about Maui is, you know, you go there and you know the island shuts down once the moon hits.
Yeah.
In a good way. You know, there's that serene scene, you know, look in terms of looking upon the ocean, the ability to like, just take things in. You know, whether you're attending a party or something, or just gazing upon the moonrise. It's such a nice sort of island to experience.
Romantic way.
Yeah,
Romantic island, that one.
Yeah. But I mean, to the point of like, you guys are talking about, how much you miss the islands and returning there. When we started doing a lot of this takeout that we're doing today for during the pandemic, as a lot of these Kapitbayans who are making food and reinventing either Filipino cuisine or finding their new craft as a food entrepreneur, I'm really at this point taking back the tradition of Hawaiian food, so that people like you guys who miss going there and don't have the ability to travel will taste those local Hawaiian flavors. So really bringing back, I have my dishes here, and these are our signatures. So this is my this is our Hawaiian Mac Salad, which is a potato macaroni salad, and it's one of our signature dishes. One of the people, a lot of the people who eat our food always ask for extra, just because I don't know, the compliment of what you eat always, it's a palate cleanser. So if anybody doesn't know what Hawaiian cuisine is, it's always any protein or anything with 2 scoops of rice and a scoop of macaroni salad.
True.
Oh, nice.
Any plate lunch.
Yeah, exactly. So we always, try to make sure our menus, now that we're sort of putting out there, and Claire, you can attest to this, it's local Hawaiian flavor, bringing back sort of the tradition, and not trying to reinvent anything, really just bringing that nostalgia. So not only are you getting the sensory of flavor and taste, but you're getting the sensory of nostalgia and memories that you would have had in your past visits.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Nice.
And thank you for doing it. I think it's the only right? I think it's the only seller in Pinoy Eats anyway that I know of that offers Hawaiian cuisine, Hawaiian flavor. So
not a lot of people know about it, I guess, but we do, and we really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
So Kuya E, or Big E, sorry, not Kuya.
Kuya E.
I
I
was actually worried that you're speaking English. I'm like, I was ready to back out, but okay.
You're doing great.
Okay, so Big E, I know that your cuisine or being a chef is not your typical background really, but you're in the IT or advertising background, right? So when did you really start your business, like the Big E Grinds, Big Hawaiian Grinds? Was it like 2012 or?
Yeah, it was back in 2012. It was during that time where I said I entered the Toronto Underground Market. So if you look it up, just look up Toronto or Toronto Underground Market. You can see sort of it's the path where a lot of food entrepreneurs got their start. So I got to work with a lot of different people who open big restaurants. La Carnita was one of the first ones that came out of there. If you know Fidel Gastro, his food truck. Along the way during this journey, Maddie Dean Petit, he sells a lot of Maddie's seafood, frozen seafood, in Loblaws and different grocers. There's a ton of different food entrepreneurs during that time that this was their path to get to either a restaurant or a prominent food business in the city. So got my start at the same time with them. Took a different beaten path because I did want to continue my career in tech and advertising, and that was my personal choice. I was just having my first baby, so really didn't want to take that risk in terms of pivoting, but knew sort of where my safeguards were in terms of growing my career and having sort of opportunities for monetizing my growth. But at the same time, the business that I was working in and the people I worked with lent itself to let me explore options and continue this hobby, continue my passion. So really blessed to have a lot of people who support the work that I was doing to do that, because it could have turned the other way, and I would have had bosses who caught on and be like, stop what you're doing or else you're not going to work here. But really lucky to have a lot of supportive people around me.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
For you, Gil. You have a question from Mr. B.
So you mentioned that when you were requested to do this, they were looking for home-based chefs, and so I guess when they asked you to do that, did they help you along the way to get you to a full compliant full-time business? I mean, a full business.
Yes and no. So I mean, they didn't ask.
Okay.
You had to apply to be a
Okay.
vendor, and you had to audition. So they had food days where you came in to present your food to the organizers. Like I mentioned before, they didn't want any overlap. They want to make sure there was a wide arrangement of different food options for the people attending. So I got my start in terms of the same way I tried to learn sort of my tech and advertising background. Talk to people. Understood, what's the path to success, and always knowing that it's not linear. How do you, because I didn't have the traditional background of going to culinary school, working my way, washing dishes and moving sort of up that channel, I sort of fast tracked, trying to be my own entrepreneur and be a vendor at some of these places. So I had to learn not only from people, but, from city bylaws, getting my food handler's license, making sure I had insurance during these events. And those are some things that, are requirements when I signed up to be a vendor. So outside of the underground market, in other events, the city of Toronto has strict rules and guidelines, so you have to follow that. So I learned along the way in terms of following those guidelines, taking the classes, and then, being mentored. So, in the places I used to work at, they used to have catering. And, part of my days was coming in a little bit earlier, befriending the chefs at some of the companies I was working at, because we had catered service, catered food. So I would go into the kitchen and just be like, hey, can I just watch what you guys are doing, learn, sort of absorb, some of the techniques and stuff. And then I started taking a class at George Brown, took one of those adult culinary classes to, hone in on my technique. Not taking the full degree, but taking a few classes. That way I can, at least look the part of some of the other chefs who are there. So, my journey has always been sort of very non-linear, to say the least, in terms of what I've been trying to do, how we evolve. And part of that too is just doing a lot of research, reading up on trends, reading up on what's going on, learning what's popular in other cities that I can bring back. So, really staying in my roots of Hawaiian food, but knowing that, there was a big boom of like Korean tacos. So why not make Hawaiian tacos? Things like that. So along, like, I'll always go back to say, I'm a sponge in terms of being a student of every game that I try to play. So, trying to learn as much as I can, be humble, not thinking that, I've been doing this for 12 years, but I'm always going to learn more. But at the same time, how can I do more to, progress my business and sort of help others along the way too?
Yeah, I think he kind of touched on the question that I was going to ask him. Like, what tips or advice can you give to aspiring sellers? Or, excuse me, it's the allergies is killing me. Sorry. What advice or tips can you give our viewers, the aspiring sellers, entrepreneurs, the ones who are just starting out? Again, you kind of touched a bit on it, but can you just elaborate more, or anything else that you wanted to add?
For sure. Like I said, I'm nowhere near sort of a top tier chef or anything, but I think I've had experience to learn a lot. So any way I can help people learn from my mistakes versus going through that. But at the same time, you have to go through the rigor of some of these pain points to motivate you a bit more. But I think best advice I can give is leverage your strengths. I like to talk. I like to be in places like this. If you're shy on that, do you have a partner that can speak more on your behalf and help you focus on the food a bit more? I think,
Teamwork.
Teamwork. I mean, my wife is my partner in this. She's my food stylist. She's my photographer. She's the one that gives me the ability to market myself a bit better. So, if you're lacking some skill set and you have somebody that, is supporting you, find ways to incorporate them, because, leverage your strength and maximize that opportunity, because it will help you go further along the way. And then the people that support you, sometimes it's hard, but if you do have that layer of support, try to find ways to expand on that. See how they can, like I said, my wife is my food stylist. She's the one that helps me stay organized and everything. So I lean on her as much as me putting out good food. I lean on her to make sure what we have is a product that's worth marketing.
Nice.
Oh.
Now, showcase your food. We want to know what you cook.
Yeah.
I showed you guys my my Hawaiian Mac Salad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try that too.
And then our other signature dish is our
Kalua pork.
pig. Yeah, so this is our Kalua pig, which is Hawaiian pulled pork. The way we do it is we smoke it, steam it, banana leaves, sea salt, very traditional. And then just whole pig and just pull it apart so it's nice and shredded. And then I think what we're trying to do within our menu is have a variety of different traditional food offerings. So this is our dessert, our featured dessert, and this is Hawaiian butter mochi.
Mochi.
So mochi is mochi powder, coconut milk, lots of butter. And then baked together. It has the consistency. People think it's like cassava.
Cassava or bibingka.
Or bibingka, yeah.
Yes.
Is it?
But
no.
No, it's not. But that's the funny thing. So, I think, going a little bit off topic, a lot of Filipinos who want to learn the food always try to associate with something. So, or cassava in that sense. Or some people have even said, our pulled pork is something like Hawaiian version of adobo. But I think it's great to think or prepare yourself, because I know sometimes the Filipino mindset is I got to know what it is before I eat it, versus diving right in. So, any way to get you guys or get anybody to want to try our food, happy to show. But like Claire said, when you see this, it doesn't look or taste like bibingka or cassava.
So good.
Okay, but I gotta try it. It's sweet. It's sweet, right?
It's sweet. Yeah,
it's
sweet.
Okay.
And then there's pockets of butter in it. So
Nice.
when you eat it, there's just a hint of savoriness to the sweetness of it. I think I should come back, get you guys a package of food, and then we can eat that all together on one of these. So
Sure.
if you ever want me back,
What time are we gonna come back?
When are we coming back?
Gina's asking if he makes loco moco.
we do.
Is that what
we
it's
do.
called?
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
he does.
Loco
Yeah.
I
He
moco.
haven't tried it, but I'm pretty sure he does because I've seen it in his page.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Loco Moco. So the background behind it is it's like a surfer's meal. I don't know the whole background, but people who go surfing for 3 to 4 hours out in the early morning, they need that sustenance to get back. So what Loco Moco is, it's layered of different food. You start with 2 scoops of rice, and then you get hamburger patty, whether it's 1 or 2. But you get a hamburger patty,
Better.
fry it on a skillet, and then you add 1 huge ladle of beef gravy. And then
Yummy.
after that, you add 1 to 2
Eggs.
eggs,
Yep.
sunny side up, fried, whatever style you like. Usually
Yeah,
you
that's
want
wild.
runny,
Yeah.
and then you break the egg, you let that flow down, break the hamburger meat, and then blend that into the gravy. And
I'm gonna cry right now.
it's
Oh,
like
let's
one of the most
go
amazing.
back to Hawaii.
I want that right now.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's such a heavy meal, but it's 45 degrees out there sometimes, and you don't want to eat something heavy, but you do because it's so good.
Yeah.
And then you eat that with the macaroni salad.
Yes.
So you add that extra layer of starch.
And some Mai Tai on the side. I mean, not in the morning, but
Yummy.
let's go.
I know.
Awesome.
And then let me show you this one. This
Oh, there's
is
more.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
it's dripping.
Wait, again, please.
hold on. The butter was dripping.
It's dripping.
Oh, wow.
So this is
This is North Shore. That's
North Shore.
The buttered shrimp.
Yeah,
Wait.
garlic shrimp.
Which one is your favorite truck?
Sorry?
Which one is your favorite truck?
So I mean Giovanni's is
Yes.
great. That's the most popular one. Romy's, which is just close by. It's a big.
We love Romy's too.
I love Domies.
Yeah.
Romy's is great because I think the biggest difference is with Romy's they have the heads on. So if you really like, Filipinos will love it, appreciate it more because You have the head. You can suck it back. Have that. It's a bit more traditional in a sense. But the most popular is Giovanni's. Great in terms of having their scampi, you know, with the garlic, especially if you want the fiery hot one. Really, really good.
So
but I think that whole area, it breeds all the same kind of shrimp. So you're not going to go wrong anywhere you go in those food trucks at the North Shore, because they're all bringing out the same kind of shrimp, or, you know, they're pooling from the same area. It's just different flavors. So, you know, I would, you know, recommend trying all of them. You know, don't discount yourself to say, you know, we don't have to go to Giovanni's, but it's great.
it's good, especially
really
the
good
tapupu.
Our recipe here for garlic shrimp is more replicated to Giovanni's shrimp scampi.
Yes.
So we tried to make sure we catered to sort of the popular sort of version. But yeah, this is something where on our menu, people are getting it in 1 to 2 orders at a time because they can't get enough. Claire, I'm not sure if you ordered it in yours.
We have a couple of times.
Yeah. So I mean,
Kids love it.
yeah.
Can we see it again? Can we see the plate again?
Yeah.
Oh my
I
God,
saw
what?
the thing.
Oh.
I got some.
Oh, and the lemon.
Yeah, we got the lemon. But you know, this is shell on.
Yes, you gotta eat it when
and-
you can.
Yeah, we make the garlic butter ahead of time. Flash fry the shrimp so that the shells itself get that nice sort of hit from the wok, and then we add the sauce with the garlic butter, and then just let that percolate. You know, really fast, because if you overcook shrimp, it gets runny, gummy and stuff. So what we try to do is just make sure we cook it at the perfect time, and cook it in consideration of when we deliver the food, so that, you know, it doesn't you know, overcook in the container too. Have the lemon.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
But yeah, so I mean, those are really much our key signature dishes. We do the spam mushubi, and we sell a ton of it, just because a lot of it comes from kids. When the world was, you know, much safer and we were out at events, Aloha Fest was one of the bigger events that we were part of.
Yes.
And we
North
would
there,
sell
right?
that, and all the kids who were hula dancing or part of that event, they would come in droves to eat the spam mushubi. So oftentimes, if we did an event, we make about like maybe 100. I have to make 600. I have to make 600 on the day of Aloha Fest. So that's sort of the Toronto's version of, you know, bringing together all the hula schools, which surprisingly, there's maybe about 10 or more that come together. So there's a huge sort of subculture of Hawaiian dancing, hula dancing, that's happened. And, you know, talking about sort of immersing ourselves with the Hawaiian culture, we ourselves are part of a hula school too. So my daughter is a hula dancer. I've danced too. At Aloha Fest with my other Kane Hawaiian dancers, but not
Can you
good.
sample right now?
No. I shouldn't open my words, but you know,
Come on.
Anything goes.
Come on.
I showed one talent. I think I'm limited to doing that. I think that's part of our contract, but.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, you know, we immerse ourselves with the culture. The food really lends itself to say, you know, how do we want to be part of it more? And it's just something where, you know, we can't visit, we can't travel right now. So hopefully this brings a little bit of, you know, that sensory of nostalgia and coming back, or looking forward to when, you know, the gates open up and we're able to travel again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, miss Hawaii. All right. Oh, we usually have a challenge. Every Saturday, we get our guest to say, "Aloha, Pinoy Eats SA East is the best." And time.
10 times.
Now you gotta put it aloha in the front.
So aloha, Pinoy.
Pinoy Eats SA East is the best.
Okay. I'm not gonna go fast.
You don't have to.
Aloha, Pinoy Eats SA East is the best. 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 Aloha, Pinoy Eats SA East is the best.
Faster.
Pinoy Eats East is the best. Aloha Pinoy Eats East is the best. Aloha Pinoy Eats East is the best. Oh, one more. Aloha
One more.
Pinoy Eats East is the best.
Oh,
Yay!
That's
There you go.
You did
Thank
great.
you for
Good job,
doing
good
your special
job.
support.
Oh. Okay, drinks muna.
Drinks
Drink.
muna.
Drink muna. So I've got a question. I shouldn't be calling you Kuya. Big E.
Erwin.
Okay, so now that you have established your business, right? Do you have more vision on how you would proceed, or would you move forward?
Yeah.
I should say. Yeah.
So I mean, like, I've done a lot of different things in terms of, starting at events with home cooks, moving into catering. I've also done food demonstrations, loblaws during sort of the Canada Day big sort of 150 celebration. I was part of Loblaws cultural events down at Maple Leaf Gardens, doing food demonstrations and stuff. So really extending myself within sort of the cultural parameters of Toronto, the Toronto food scene. What I'd love to do is get into either TV or sort of marketing myself a bit more to be some type of public personality, whether in TV or having the ability to build a YouTube channel or some type of multimedia approach. Maybe have a cookbook one day if that lends itself. But having something like that where I can take my personality and grow that a bit more, using food as the premise of it, and then finding opportunities to grow from there.
That's good. But do you have you have any secret to making your food really tasty?
So I mean,
Love.
Passion.
I know,
Well,
like,
that's what I was waiting for. Love.
yeah, I think that's a very typical answer. But yeah, I think I'm passionate about the food I eat, so it comes out in what I serve. I only got started because this is sort of back in the day. Think of before Netflix and having sort of these accounts. Me and my wife were in university, and I never had any money to take her out. So we were very young and stuff. So I would ask my parents to borrow some money, and I would cook for her, and we'd have like a blockbuster night, dinner and a movie. But I learned to cook that way. Find foods, recipes that I liked on Food Network, trying to mimic that and bring that home for us to, prepare when we're watching a few movies that we rented. So you really sort of hone that craft, and then sort of as we started going out and our relationship developed more, our friends found out about it, and I would cook for them. They would come over, we'd barbecue and stuff. So like, it would always turn into, this is good. So if I hear that positive feedback, I try to learn a bit more. So, my secret is I take the feedback that I get and pivot to where I like, and then iterate. So like, you never sort of hit that home run right away. Even sort of the best baseball players, or even Michael Jordan, he wasn't able to shoot the ball and be that master player without practice. So my secret is just being back in the kitchen, learning,
Doing it.
trying to evolve myself and do more. And I think a lot of people will pride themselves on how great their stuff. And I don't try to think my food is the best. I let other people talk and say, this is good, and then try to learn from that and say, okay, how can I elevate that more?
That's good.
Great.
Sure. I think his Big E is I think he's a lifelong student in the
Yes.
kitchen, right?
I think so too. Yeah.
Always
Just
learning new things.
learn and improve.
And
Right?
improving.
Yeah, and the hard part is like, as you get busy with doing stuff, you become not complacent, but I always try to evolve, because if you're sticking to the same dishes all the time, you're not learning anything new, because you're just going through those same motions and cycles. So, I think the question was like, what do you want to do next? I want to learn more different cuisines from other cultures a bit more. If you follow my Instagram account, you probably see that I post a lot of, my home dinners that I'm having with my family. So big on Taco Tuesdays, big on learning some of the bigger trends, feta cheese, baked pasta, birria tacos, and things like that. Those are things that we're cooking at home and trying to iterate and make it better. But I think if we're going to expand sort of the operation, see myself as a chef that can do more and learn more. That way it can, if I have the opportunity to, like, I think one of my next steps is trying to get on like a food TV show, Master Chef Canada. I've applied to that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
do that.
Where I can expand my sort of knowledge base, sort of aligned to where I want to be down with a future food career. So things like that, where I think it can challenge me to do better and find ways to expand my knowledge.
That'll be amazing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Wait.
One more question. When are you making your laulaus?
So that's all depending on season. So like the way our menu works is, we have our feature dishes, and then we rotate. Sorry, we have our signature dishes, and then we have our feature dishes. We rotate. So this week we had vegan poke. So it was featured poke. Poke was sort of, we have that off our menu on a la carte, and then we had that as a salad with beets instead of fish. Little known fact, I was the first person in Toronto to sell poke before sort of the big craze. So
No way. No
During-
I've
way.
been making it myself. Why didn't you come sooner?
What? From Costco?
So from like different food events before that poke craze started in 2015, we were selling that all the time. So, in 2019, there was superheroes of ceviche competition I was invited to. So different chefs that congregated to this festival. That's the Pan American sort of food and wine festival. So I was a participant that was invited with other ceviche chefs, and I won People's Choice for poke versus ceviche.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I have a long history of like
Okay, gotta try the
having-
poke now.
having poke and stuff. But yeah, the way we offer our menus is something featured every week. So to your point, Claire, with Lau Lau, we had it in February a few times because it was in season. But the marketplace right now where we're getting our produce doesn't have it available. So when it does become available, we try to make sure we can sell that and feature it.
Okay,
Great.
waiting for it.
Yeah.
So Big E, take this time now to promote your brand. So how can people know more about you? Any upcoming announcements or social media?
Yeah, I mean, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Everything is at Big E Grinds. So BIGEGRINDS. So Big E Grinds is sort of our handle across social media, looking to build new content for TikTok. So we can have some recipe food builds too along with that. But, the primary channels has been Facebook and Instagram, using your Facebook group to showcase my menu. We show that on Instagram and Facebook at the beginning of the week. And then we push towards a weekend menu. So before the call started here, I just finished our dinner service for Saturday. So we always do Saturday and Sunday service. And then we rotate different parts of the GTA every weekend. So this weekend, we're in Etobicoke. Weekend after, we'll be in Leslieville. Before that, we were in Toronto West. And then we'll be in Mississauga again in 2 weeks. So, we have a rotation of different places. Because we're situated in Markham, we can do pickup here in Markham, but at the same time, when the demand sort of rises in different parts of the city, I make sure I set up a drop-off spot. So in Leslieville, I'll set up a parking lot space where a lot of customers will take the orders, and then I meet them and I give them a delivery bag. Same thing sort of this weekend where we're going to be in Etobicoke. So every weekend that happens, follow us. I'll post it as stories or as regular posts. You can see our menu in terms of what we offer.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, and we gotta try it soon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, like I said, maybe you can have me on again. I'll set a set sort of offering so we can eat and talk more. If you think we can talk, have more time to talk, but you can try the food. Or you can talk more about Hawaiian food. How we're trying to blend that with some of the Filipino culture because we have family and a lot of family members who try my food. In the past have. Recommended me for like baby showers or engagement parties or different events within the Filipino community and stuff. So, lots to talk about.
That's awesome. So when that happens, I'm gonna make sure I'm a co-host.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. No, I seriously need to come back again because my nephews are bugging me for your food.
Oh.
I've given some to our my sister-in-law, but not to my other sister-in-law. So yeah, they're waiting for it, but I've just been busy.
Amazing.
But hey, yeah, mahalo, Erwin, for coming and talking to us tonight. We really did had fun with you.
Oh, amazing! Wow.
Talking about Hawaii anytime, any day.
Yeah, anytime. I think it's one of those things where it always feels at home. Like you can travel some places and feel like a stranger, but if you've been to Hawaii and gone back multiple times, there's that sense of home where I know the Philippines is sort of our first place of destination, if where we feel back at home in terms of culture and stuff. But I feel that same parallel when I go to Hawaii in terms of I don't have to be a tourist. I can be a tourist if I want, but at the same time, I'm familiar with sort of the islands to know what I'd like, what I want to do, and where I sort of the capabilities of having sort of an extended kind of vacation outside of the parameters of what you normally have at other destinations.
That's awesome. So do you evade?
Let's all go to Hawaii.
I know.
Do you evade the tourist prices too?
Oh my god!
The Kama'aina price. Usually I get the Kama'aina price, but I have to bring my family with me. But no, it's good. But no, thank you so much for coming. Here to you, and to more success of Big E Hawaiian.
Mahalo.
Yeah.
Hello.
We'll be trying a lot more of your food soon. Mahalo.
All the best.
Mahalo, everybody. Thank you very much for having
We'll
me.
message you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And we'd like to invite our Kapitbahay's Pinoy Eats SA East members. If you haven't tried Big E Hawaiian Grinds, please check out Big E, Erwin or Kuya Erwin. Just send him a message. You can find him on Instagram, of course, Facebook. Again, he's also on Pinoy Eats.
Yeah.
So he's actually been featured in like other social media sites. Blog TO. I thought I saw an article about and
I had
some
a
other
live. There was a live
competitions.
interview this week. Well, it was a live interview. It was on Tuesday, where it was Takeout Tuesdays was the feature. So I was one of the people there. Been in different publications across Toronto. Toronto Life. If you look my name up, you'll probably see an article about where it's a series called Chefs in the Suburbs. So that was a few years ago. But I'm all over social media, so feel free to
Amazing. No, especially now that we can't travel, right? There's travel restrictions, and who knows how long this is going to take, for us to before we can travel again. So bring the taste of Hawaii, right, to your backyard, to your home. Like I think they also do catering. So mga kapesa, let's do it. We're gonna check them out too.
Their food is really good.
Yes. Thank you.
Mahalo, thank you.
Thank you, Erwin.
Thanks,
Thank
Erwin.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Amazing.
That was awesome.
Yes.
I gotta go back to Hawaii.
Yes. Hopefully next year we can all travel. Going back to Hawaii.
I know.
I was supposed to be there last month. That didn't happen.
Did you go last year? Did you go last year?
No, it went the year before that. So 2019 was our last visit. And we were gonna skip last year, but going this year. So this year, no go. So next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And we were there in 2019 too.
Yeah.
Yes, we were all. I think we all got there a few months apart.
We were there in April.
Yeah.
Along with Ate, but we didn't see each other. We were planning to meet, but
they were too tired. We were too tired because we were doing the day tours and driving around.
You guys were tourists seeing everything
everywhere.
Yeah, it was our first. That was our first visit, right?
Yeah,
so, and I was just gonna, I forgot to mention this earlier, kanina, and then si Big E. But when I first, when we first visited Hawaii, well, that was our first and last visit so far. Oahu, it really reminded us of the Philippines.
Yes.
It was like Filipinas, right?
Yeah.
But in America, parang,
Yes.
English and it's more organized. It's cleaner.
Yes.
It's so laid back. Traffic is there,
Yeah.
but
If you go to Kauai, it's actually way more like Philippines. More like yung sa province of Philippines. Kauai is exactly the same.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So lush.
Is it a bigger island
No.
compared to Oahu?
No, it's you can go around the island in 2 hours.
Oh,
hours.
it's the smallest island.
It's
right?
a tiny, it's a small
smallest
island.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but no, you guys should visit Kauai next.
It's
So
cute.
how far is that from Oahu?
It's everything is about 30 minutes flight away.
Flight, okay.
Yeah, they don't have any other travel.
Yeah. Oh,
Any
that's
other
true.
ways.
Yeah, have to go plane. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They were going to do a ship, but that was canceled.
Oh, they don't have ferry service?
No, they were going to do that for Oahu and Maui, but then that was canceled because there's a lot of arguments of how the water is going to be and stuff like that. They didn't want to pollute the water anymore. So that was, a big thing that, it was canceled, but it's okay. It's better, I guess. You can still travel by air.
Yeah.
It's very
Yeah. And it's not that expensive to
No,
do
it's
island
pretty-
hopping. Right?
island
By
hopping.
air.
Island hopping.
But
Yeah.
it used to be so much more cheaper. It used to be only like $60 for a flight to go to the
Really?
other.
I think
Now-
it's going to be more expensive after COVID.
I think so too.
Do we have any housekeeping, any reminders, announcements for our Kapitbahays?
The posts that I have been releasing or approving, they've been very good, I think. They followed, like the prices, locations, if it's pickup or delivery,
Yeah,
and pictures and like details of
Yeah.
what they sell.
right.
But yeah, nothing.
I guess Just
nothing-
reminders too about, if you're inviting friends and family to join in, make sure that they answer the questionnaire.
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would be very helpful.
Yeah.
That's and for the new sellers, again, make sure that you read our group rules, yung requirement. So we need the price, location, pickup or delivery, right?
Method of payment.
And method of payment, and also you cannot just share a page. You have to actually include all the required information as text in caption. Like, don't just share a page. So so para efficient tayo and we don't keep declining posts because it can be frustrating to some. And I almost forgot. We're waiting for more information, but we're hoping to be part of at least contribute to Street Eats, Scarborough Town Center,
Yay.
on like the third to last weekend of June. I think they're gonna have a Filipino food festival in Scarborough.
Oh, wow.
So watch out for that. Again, inaayos pa yung mga information, but fingers crossed, guys.
Yeah.
Good,
We want to see Pinoy Eats SA EAST at Street Eats Scarborough Town Center next month for the Filipino festival.
Yes.
Yes.
That'll be amazing.
So Gail, I think that would fall under our birthday. So our weekend birthday weekend.
Will it be?
Double celebration.
Yeah,
It's a celebration.
Yeah, we can celebrate there. Woohoo.
Sure.
Yes. Double celebration.
Break up.
Yeah, double celebration.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Anything
That
else?
was fun.
That was fun.
It was
Very fun.
Yeah, very fun.
Reminiscing about Hawaii is always good.
Exactly. Love Hawaii.
Yes, exactly.
And thanks to our amazing host, our amazing lead host today,
Yeah.
Claire.
Thanks,
Pierce.
Claire.
Claire.
Aloha.
Hello.
Aloha.
And great
Mahalo,
outfits.
everybody, for listening in and tuning in.
I got my Hawaiian shirt on.
I know. Woohoo!
Oh, it looks good.
You look really good, Kuya Gil.
Yeah.
We should all meet up in the beach or something right now,
I know. Or bluffers, that'll be the closest.
right?
Yes. And shout out to of course our other admins and moderators. Before we go, of course, special mention Tony,
Woohoo!
Gina,
Woohoo!
Joy,
Woohoo!
Sashi, Pam, and
Yay.
your kids,
The kids. Your
Yes.
kids.
Nathan,
Somewhere
Lucas, Ariana,
Nathan, Lucas, Ariana,
Summer,
Summer, Adam, and
Autumn.
Ella. Thanks for my face
Ella.
today.
Thank you.
Ichigo.
Ichigo,
Ichigo and Oakley and Ben,
Hopefully, yeah.
and yes.
Coco,
and yes.
Le,
Sino
And
pa?
Ellie too. Yes. And his other siblings. Yeah,
Monty.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't keep track of all the names now.
Dami.
Ang dami. All right, everyone.
All right.
Hey,
Good night.
guys.
Have a good
Mahalo.
night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Yes.
Good weekend.
And see you next weekend.
See you next weekend. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.